Okay, so today we're going to talk about the Pythagorean Theorem. So you should have received this blue foldable. And just a little bit of history, Pythagorean Theorem has been around in math classes for a long time. And it's named after an ancient math philosopher named Pythagoras. And he is the one that discovered that if you have a triangle with a right angle, any triangle with a right angle, you can always figure out the lengths of the sides. If you have at least two of them, you can figure out the third side. So I'm going to teach you what that is today. The name is hard to say maybe or long to write, but it's not difficult. So when you unfold your foldable, it's like a brochure. You'll see some examples on the side. You'll see some vocabulary at first, so we're going to do that really quickly. So the vocabulary, the first word is right angle, and a right angle is 90 degrees, 90-degree angle, and it looks like an L, okay, and you always see like kind of maybe this little box here, and that denotes a right angle, okay, 90 degrees. So the leg are the parts of the triangle, the sides of the triangle that do not have to go diagonal, so up and down or side to side. So this is a leg, not a leg, okay, because it goes diagonal. So leg, not a leg. Okay, the hypotenuse, anybody want to guess what this is called? The not a leg? It's actually called the hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse is the diagonal part of any right angle triangle, and it's always directly across from the 90-degree angle. So here's your 90-degree angle, and it's directly across from the hypotenuse. Okay? So square root is what we've been talking about. The square root is an example. A square root of 100 is 10, and the square root of 81 equals 9. So it's a number times the same number or number squared, x2. That's the opposite, okay? It's called what we call the inverse of square root. Okay, so those are just basic vocabulary. If we were to open this up, we would see that there are three different parts. You could solve to see if it's a right triangle, solve for the length of the hypotenuse, and then solve for the length of a leg, okay? So in the middle here, we're going to write the formula, and we're going to write it really big, okay? A squared plus B squared equals C squared. That is the Pythagorean theorem. So let's say it together. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. As long as you know your ABCs, you should be able to remember the Pythagorean theorem. So it's not hard to remember at all. Now we have to know what is the A, what is the B, and what is the C. So the hypotenuse is always the C, and the legs are A and B. Okay, it doesn't matter which one's A and which one's B, but A squared, the leg of A, the measure of A plus the measure of B squared, okay, equals the hypotenuse squared. And you can tell that that kind of makes sense here. The hypotenuse is always the longest part of any triangle, because it's having to go diagonally across. All right? So let's see here. Solve to see it's a right triangle. If a squared plus b squared equals c squared works out, then it's a right triangle. So I'm going to go ahead and just call this my a, and this is my b. It doesn't matter. And this is my c. Okay? I could have said this is my a and this is my b, but the c has to be the hypotenuse. So let's write this out. A squared, so we have 5 squared plus b squared, so that's 12 squared, equals c squared. That's 13 squared. Okay, let's see if those add up. So we're going to just use our calculators. And I'm just going to put in 5 squared. Well, you should know that is 25. 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, plus b squared, which is 144, equals c squared. C squared is 13, so that's 169. Is that true? Is 25 plus 144 169? Let's see. 25 plus 144 equals 169. So this is a right triangle. It checks out. Okay? A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay? So a squared, 10 squared, plus b squared, which is 9 squared, equals 6 squared. Let's see if those check out. So 10 squared, 10 times 10 is 100, plus 9 squared is 81, equals 6 squared, 36. Uh-oh, what did I do wrong? I'm gonna pause for a second and let you tell me what I did wrong, because this is not adding up. Did you figure it out? I labeled my hypotenuse. I did not label it correctly. I gave 6 as the hypotenuse, but that's actually a leg. So we need to go and change that, and this should be my C. So it becomes, and I did that on purpose to see if you were paying attention, okay? So it becomes 6 squared plus 9 squared equals 10 squared, okay? So now we have 6 squared is 36 plus 81 equals 100. Does that check out? Is 36 plus 81 100? No, it is not. 36 plus 81 is 117. So it is not, so this is not a right triangle, or it would work. Come on in. Come in. Come in, guys. Hello, come in. Hey, I was telling you how you could come in. Because I was filming a lesson. On my camera.
Huh?
Yeah.
I was filming a lesson on my camera.
Yeah.
Cream cheese.
You about to be absent again?
No. This is for pre-AP tomorrow.
Cream cheese. Ooh, candy.
Counselor's gonna be here today.
We're gonna read, aren't we?
What about the candy? What do you think?
What?